Is my video visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
All right. So, a very good evening, everyone. So, I'm Ravisha, and Janvi is like still joining, try to join in because she is at her workplace. So, yeah, she'll be joined within a minute. So, we will be discussing the critical issue of security in the IoT devices, specifically focused upon the smart light bulbs. So, the and the covert channels they create. Now we all know that today, like um, everything has its pros and cons. So IoT, apart from being so much of beneficial to us in our daily lives, it do have comebacks for being secure, like a part of security vulnerabilities it possesses. So, in our research, we uncovered some alarming findings about potential for IoT light bulbs to be exploited for data exfiltration, even from highly secured air gap networks, by leveraging VLCs, which are visible light communication techniques. Visible light communication techniques, and the attackers can manipulate brightness levels of smart light bulbs and create covert channels through which sensitive information can get leaked. Now, this isn't just a theoretical research we have done, but the previous studies emphasized on more of emphasized upon Ronen and Shamir's paper. We have referenced in our paper here. So they have demonstrated the feasibility of such attacks using devices like Philips Hue White lightning system. We as well have used this in our research paper, but we do added some add-ons so as to make it more beneficial and easier to understand it. So here we go. So our paper focuses upon three aspects: IoT light bulbs, covert channels, and VLC communication. So first, focusing upon IoT light bulbs. IoT light bulbs are basically smart bulbs that can be controlled rem- remotely. We can either use our smartphones or laptops or any voice commands like Alexa we use in our everyday lives, or any of the automation systems. So its key advantages are we can operate them remotely. It has voice control. They are energy efficient as well, and they can be integrated with smart home systems as well. So, as mentioned, some of the popular brands, as you can see on my screen, are Philips, IKEA, Goov, etc. Next, coming on to covert channels. Now, covert channels are basically methods of communication that can that allow transfer of information bypassing the normal security mechanisms. So they can be used for transmitting data secretly, that can be used by attackers to invade into some sensitive information, and thus um, making it prone to leakage. So covert channels are used in data exfiltration, evasion, steganography, etc. Next, coming on to VLC communication. Now, VLC communication is visible light communication that can be used to transmit data by that utilizing LEDs that is modulated onto light waves and then received by a photo detector or a camera sensor. They are like the modulation basically happens on a very high speed, so the human eye cannot detect it. So VLCs are connected with detectors. As in the research, when we created the setup, we used light sensor. Now, our goal is to shed some light on these emerging threats basically, and to discuss the implications for broader IoT systems. Now, thank you, and let's delve into the details. Now, the problem statement was basically VLCs are sorry. Mm-mm. Uh, Sir, may I know whether the problem statement slide is visible or some other slide is visible? Hello.
Your problem statement is visible.
All right, sir. Thank you. So the proliferation of IoT devices has introduced significant security vulnerabilities, including potential for covert channels, thus posing risks such as unauthorized access or data exfiltrations, etc., to sensitive information. Now, the current security measures are somehow inadequate in detecting and mitigating covert channels that can lead to potential exploitation of malicious actors. So, as a solution, we presented that first we can implement secure communication protocols that can mitigate the risk of unauthorized access. Secondly, we can integrate intrusion detection systems to detect anomalous patterns of indicating of covert communication. Thirdly, what we can do is firmware integrity verification to ensure data operations trustworthiness, that so that we can uh, um, make our system that much trustworthy so that others can trust onto it too. Fourth, not last but not the least, of course, advanced signal processing techniques to detect and analyze subtle variations in light intensity, enhancing detection capability. So these all were uh, utilized in creation of our circuit, and here it can be shown. This is our setup diagram. So it comprises of mm, Arduino Uno here. This is our breadboard. This is our Pico. Just a second. This is our picoscope, along with like comprises of light detector as well, light uh, light sensor, photo sensor as well, and the Python script we utilized to give it as a interface. So we built a covert channel using Philips Hue White lightning system. The laptop ran the Python script that accessed the API to send brightness commands. Then the light sensor converted the light intensity to frequency signal and forwarded it to an oscilloscope here, uh, and then thereby connecting the output frequency to the laptop, or outputting it to the laptop. Now, here the main role of Arduino Uno was basically used as a power supply and light sensor configuration. Now, our study was basically an extended study of Ronen and Shamir's paper that was presented in IEEE conference in 2016. So they used Arduino Uno only for supplying power, but here we used picoscope to measure the brightness, and due to the advanced API functionality we have to use it. Now they had to directly connect the system to the hardware, where here we do not have to directly connect it to the hardware or perform any changes in the hardware. Our overall setup did had one limitation, that we were unable to see the phase shifts, but in later on stages we'll definitely get onto it, and uh, we can work upon the same. So I this was the method we suggested, but as a part of our ecosystems, as we humans are more vulnerable to attacks, so we, as a part of our society, what we all can do is we can have security audits and vulnerability assessment, so that we can identify and address potential security weaknesses, and thus deploy some or the other systems or our system too, to prevent from any security vulnerabilities, awareing users and stakeholders about the security risk, and regulatory compliances, ensuring compliance with relevant regulations and standards.